Hello to you. I want to share with you the vision of the school. As you know, we are right now on the early access. So you have access to the courses that have been developed and have been done, or the ones that I'm working right now. But maybe you are not aware of the things that I have in my mind as the teacher inside of the school, or as Bruno, the one that is teaching. So with this video, I want you to be aware of the vision of the school so you can have that in mind and also participate. Help me co-create that together. So I want to show you what I did the other day, which is, as you can see here on the left side, we have the different sections of the school. As you see, the general section is going to remain the same. Then we have the self-pleasure section, the men's sexuality section, the emotional maturity section, and the self-discovery section. So this is the first thing that I want to start talking about, uh, because the men's pleasure school, right, has a main component, which is the self pleasure practice, right? That's kind of the thing that we are aiming on, and that's what we have on this section here. So here we learn everything that is needed for the self pleasure practice. Here we have demonstrations, we have audio guidances that I'm recording in every single live workshop that you have access to. Um, we also have different key components that I'm recording right now to have in mind in this practice. We have a walkthrough through the different parts of the practice, and also I'm going to be adding some penis masturbation techniques with some dildos that are arriving soon, and other things that you need here. But the self pleasure practice actually is held in three main components. The first one, of course, is sexuality, which is this first section here. I'm going to be talking about what's going to be here. As you can see, there's a lot of courses. Then we have the emotional maturity. And this can sound like, what does emotional maturity have to do with the self-pleasure practice? But we're going to see that pleasure is related to feelings, right? If we don't know how to feel our emotions, it's going to be very hard that we feel any pleasure at all. So in this section, we're going to learn about pain, and because pain is like the opposite from pleasure. So this is something important to understand. And there's actually a practice here called distress the body. So this practice here is actually what where we learn about pain, where we learn how to process stuck emotions. You already have this course. I can show it to you. It's this one here, the one that is one created. These are a couple of exercises starting with a warming up. Then you have exercises following um, the organs of our body. And each organ is related to a specific stress, a specific emotion, and a specific tension in the body. So here we learn a lot about breath, pain, and emotions. This is going to allow us to really get into the body sensations, which is one of the most important things inside of the self pleasure practice. It's about feeling our body, feeling the pleasure in our body. But for that, we have to be connected to our body. So this is everything that we have here. I'm gonna be explaining more in depth afterwards. And then we have self discovery. So one of the things that I found that were very important for the self pleasure practice is actually that if we want to give ourselves pleasure, we gotta like ourselves, and in order to like ourselves, we need to know who we are. Okay, so in this section, we're gonna find out who we are, what our purpose is, how to use our energy efficiently. And here, I'm gonna teach you guys the three most important tools that I've learned in my life and I've been teaching for the past years. Actually, this is where I'm coming from. The ego death we're gonna learn. I'm gonna be explaining this afterwards in at the end of the video. But all this section here is to understand that we are unique and we have a way of operating with our energy that is different from other people. So we gotta really understand who we are. So also we build up the confidence to show up as who we are, and this will manifest on a higher self pleasure practice. So this is not disconnected from all of these things. So as you can see, this is how I've organized the school. So of course, this is what we want, but all of these things will add up things to the self pleasure practice. So right now, what I want to start by sharing is the different courses that I have inside of each section. Okay, so it's not going to be long, so just bear with me. Now you have the mental organization of the school. So what you can see right now on the school, if we go back to the school, is that we already have the self pleasure practice, which is something that I've been developing and I will be developing on the next weeks. We have already on men's sexuality two first courses that I will be also developing, and we have already on the emotional maturity a course of distressing the body that is already complete, and your energetic blueprint, which is already complete, right? But we only have these courses, right? So what is waiting for us in the future? Well, what is waiting for us in the future is all of these courses here. So let's start with men's sexuality, and let's break down what all of these courses mean. So the first one is your sexuality, and this course is all about what sexuality is, right? Learning different things like your arousal types. Do you know your arousal types? Do you know the four archetypes of men's sexuality? Do you know the masculine and the feminine qualities of a man? All etc. etc. Like I don't want to like this is going deeper into an education around what a sexuality for men is. We haven't been taught this, right? The next thing is gonna be something that is very related to sexuality. I'm thinking of another name because from boy into man, maybe it's not very appealing. I was also thinking man in power, but it has to do with this concept of boy to man. Like we have to realize that 99% of men walking on this earth are still a boy. Why? Because they are not emotionally mature. They haven't developed the qualities of a man. So these two courses really go hand in hand. But what I want from this second course is really teach you the qualities that a boy has, which are not something that is wrong, but to differentiate what a boy is from a man. And this will allow you to really see where you're still being a boy and how can you move into a man, because at the end that's the process where we are all in this transformation from a boy to a man. So this is going to be a very powerful course with a lot of sections on qualities of a boy, qualities of a man, and really developing those qualities of a man, right? So you can raise into your power. The third course that I want to make is about pornography. So this is a huge one. I was addicted to pornography for 10 years, and I've been on this journey of really like, how can I get out of this? How can I understand things? So this is going to be a whole course on re-understanding what porn is doing to our minds, to our bodies, why we're watching it, and really harness the opportunity that pornography is giving to us. Like if we get to the core of why we're watching pornography and we're able to cut it from the root, we'll see that there's an emotional aspect to it, that why we're drawn to that, right? It could be different things. So this is something that I'm really looking forward to create. And then we have these three other courses. So what I see is like there's two groups here. There's like one group, and then there's two groups. And all these three other courses, semen retention, liberate your voice, and multi-orgasm, are really three courses that are going to help us with the self-pleasure practice. For example, semen retention, exercises that help us build the perineum muscle. Um, of course, the liberate your voice is inside of the semen retention, but there's a whole other aspect to the liberation of the voice and that we haven't been taught as well, right? Sorry. Okay, so semen retention, liberate your voice, and then the multi-orgasm. The multi-orgasm is going to be also, those are very related, but there's different things that we have to work on. All of these things will help us with the self-pleasure practice. But let's not forget the power also of understanding our sexuality and also developing the masculine qualities, like for example saying no. Most people have a hard time saying no and really protecting their energy. In semen retention, there's going to be an aspect of that, of how can I say no to the outside and protect my energy. That's going to be the same in the inner world, right? Okay, so all of these things will compromise or will compose the men's sexuality section. Now I'm going to go to the emotional maturity section. So as I was saying before, the emotional maturity section is all about how can we understand our emotional world, something that we haven't been taught. Emotional maturity. And I wanted to give the name of emotional maturity and not emotional intelligence, because you can be emotionally intelligent, but the objective of the purpose of emotional intelligence is to be played out on our relationships. And that's where we are emotional mature. And that's the next human evolution. The next human evolution for men is emotional maturity, not emotional intelligence. So emotional maturity is when I play that emotional intelligence in my relationships. So I don't become reactive. I can be able to navigate the challenges that relationships give to us, right? But that's the next human evolution. There's actually right now on 2027 an activation in a new era of 400 years that are coming, okay? So, of course, if we want to be emotionally mature, we have to be emotionally intelligent. So, here we're going to learn all about emotions, the different emotions. What do they mean? How can we process them? And how can we understand the information that emotions are giving to us so we can navigate life through our emotions, not blocking them, not controlling them, not suppressing them, but allowing them, feeling them, processing them, and acting accordingly. Okay? Emotional release is something that is very tied to emotional intelligence, but emotional release is going to be what helps us release stuck emotions, like for example rage or anger, right? So this is going to be super important. Actually, rage and anger have to do with the voice. Liberate your voice. There's a lot of rage and anger in place, but here there's this all emotional exercises. So now that we know the different emotions, now we have exercises that can help us release them or process them, right? It could be emotional processing, but emotional release, I like it. So here you will have a list of emotions that you can feel throughout the day, and how can you release them or process them, right? Anxiety and depression is going to be one of the best courses that I want to make, because this is something that I've suffered from, anxiety and depression. And I think it's one of the biggest emotions that people feel. I want to say it's an emotion, it's not a disease. So you don't have to be medicated to cope with anxiety. It's just something that you learn how to understand what anxiety is, what it's telling you. So this is one of the courses that I look forward, anxiety and depression, and everything that I've learned. There's different practices like tapping. Also, there's pelvic floor exercises, right? Distress your body is it's a routine of exercises. Actually, they are exercises, but they are isometric stretches. So learning about fascia and learning about what an isometric, eccentric, concentric stretch is and how the fascia holds emotions. That's why I'm putting this course here on emotional maturity, because the fascia rearranges depending on our emotional state. So through these exercises, we're able to open up the body, move from a lower performance to a higher performance, and really feel present in our bodies. This will have a tremendous impact on the ability to feel pleasure as well. Because if we are stressed, it's going to be very difficult that our pleasure can navigate through the tissues. So this is great, not only to distress, process emotions, and feel more open, but it's going to help us be more prepared for the self pleasure practice. And then I have two courses. Spine alignment is something that I've been working on. Uh, but the spine holds such a power and such a wisdom. So if we're able to have the exercises that help us put a better posture, so this is all about posture, um, we are going to also be more confident and more in power and more in tuned, because posture is all about, we're like an antenna and we're picking up things from the environment. So spine posture, spine alignment is going to be a deep one. It's not something, everyone suffers from bad posture, including myself, but this is something that I've been working for the past years. And then we have a specific course on the Venus stream. And the Venus stream is actually in the Gene Keys, which is something that I will be teaching you on the self discovery. But the Gene Keys profile is a technology. It's actually our genetic. It's like a codification of who we are and how we function in three levels: in our purpose, in our relationships, and with money. So this is something that I will be teaching you also inside of the school. Everything that you're seeing right now on the screen, but what you're seeing actually right now is called the Venus sequence. It's a sequence of circles, and this comes with a book that you have to buy. And as you can see, there's different numbers that you have to read inside of the book. Each sphere holds a number and holds a specific topic. For example, this is all about relationships. So here you have an understanding and a map of your wounding patterns, what you generated inside of the womb of your mother, what you generated in the first 7 years of your life, in the second 7 years of your life, and in the third 7 years of their life. So here you have the wounds that you have coded inside of your system. And these two spheres here talk about the sexual wound. That's why I'm putting it also here on the school, because it's all about sexuality. The attraction sphere, it's called, is how we attract other people through our sexuality. And then we have the purpose of our relationships. So this technology here, which can be a little bit abstract, is going to teach you how you relate to other people, how you react to other people, what is your wounding, and how actually to heal that wounding through understanding why all those wounds appeared on your past. And actually, they are showing you the way to open your heart. So this is a great and very long. This takes time. This takes a lot of time to contemplate. But this is something I will be teaching. And this goes inside of the emotional maturity because it has to do with wounding. It has to do also with relationships. So that's why emotional maturity. And this is actually the deepest course inside of the section. Okay, now we're going to move into the last section, which is the self-discovery. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. And in self-discovery, what we're going to teach is all about ourselves. So we have here three of the most powerful tools. So the first one is going to be ego death, which is about the Enneagram. Your energetic blueprint is going to be human design. And your genius is going to be Gene Keys, the activation sequence. So let's start with the last one. So the Gene Keys is actually one of the most amazing technologies, and every one of us gets this profile that I was showing related to our birth time. In our birth time, we get an activation of our DNA that is unique from other people. So our genius, which is these four spheres that you can see, these four numbers, are telling us our geniality, what we're made of, what we should be doing with our life. Okay, in my case, is education. So you will understand a lot about your gifts. This is are called the four primary gifts, which are uh, the way you do things uniquely, and how can you move to higher frequencies? How can you move to being yourself, right? And you're going to encounter that these numbers, all of them have a different meaning, but this actually talks about your purpose in life and your genius. What's your genius? So once you find your genius, it's really likely that you will operate it, you will manifest it into your reality. But you gotta know why you were designed, for what you were designed. So this is what I will teach you on a course, and on the activation sequence I will teach you on the emotional maturity I will teach you the next sequence, which is the Venus sequence. And maybe in the future I will do a section of money, and I will teach you your prosperity codification. All of these things are codifications that are connected to our DNA, genetic code. So each one of us has a codification for purpose, a codification for relationships, and a codification for money and prosperity. Okay, the next tool that I'm going to teach you is human design. And human design is basically what you're seeing right now on the right. This is a human design graph. It has some main properties, and we already have this course available for you to already tap into the potential that you have here. As you can see here, we have a body. It's called a body graph, and we have different energy centers. Some are with color, some are without color, and this is actually a map of energy that you have inside of yourself. In this case, this is mine, but we have, for example, this other chart is very different. This other chart is very different. Each one of us has a different energetic blueprint, and we gotta understand this map. So this is what I will teach you on the course, is how can you understand that chart and how can you utilize it? Because sexual energy is energy at the end. It's vital energy that is waiting to be created. So if we don't understand our energy, how are we supposed to live our sexuality? So this course will teach you how your energy works and how to operate it. What you will see that you're different from anybody else. You're unique. So you want to learn who you are, and you want to learn your gifts. You want to learn which energy belongs to you, which energy doesn't belong to you, which is the white parts, and you're picking up from your environment. So you can set up boundaries with your energy, what is not you. But you're also going to learn different things like your intuition, your inner guidance, which comes from your body's wisdom, right? All of these things and more things. And the last thing that I want to teach you is the Enneagram, because this is such a powerful tool. If you look Enneagram in the internet, you will get this graph, and these are 9 personalities that you have to understand which one of them are you playing, which one of them are you trying to solve an inner emptiness. In my case, for example, I identify myself with the 3 Enneatype type, and the 3 Enneatype type is the one looking for external validation. So what you will discover is that each one of us has a specific thing that is looking in the outside. So in my case, I was looking for external validation, and of course, this is something that will give lead to a lot of suffering, because I'm constantly looking for that validation, and something that you can relate to. But maybe I can give that validation to myself, and then I come into terms with myself, right? So Enneagram is going to teach you your personality pattern, and really help you heal it so you can move into your authenticity, your essence. There's actually 9 personalities, 9 patterns of personality. And when you discover yours, you're going to set yourself free from that thing that you're looking constantly on all your relationships. All the things you do is to really heal a wound from the past. So once you go to the past, you really understand what's your wound, you're able to heal it. In my case, was a lack of validation and attention from my mother. And those two things I discovered through the Enneagram. So in your case, it can be something completely else, right? And each number plays a different wound. So, for example, we have the emotional ones, we have the reptilian ones, and we have the mental ones. So, for example, the 5 is gonna study a lot because he doesn't want to do anything with emotions. The 6 is gonna take a outside external authority to make decisions for him. The 7 is going to be all the time having experiences because he doesn't know how to be alone. He's going to be meeting a lot of people every single day. So each one of them is playing a role, is playing a pattern that they can break free from. So I think if every man just knew all of these 3 tools, it would be a better place, this world. So this is what I'm envisioning for the Men's Pleasure School and what's going to be developed on the next months. So I just wanted to make this video so you understand where you are and where we're headed. And if you have any ideas, you have any comments around what I just explained, then I'm super open to hear your thoughts, your feedback. But just so you know where we're headed, I think it's a great thing to have in your mind. And from there, we'll take it organically and spontaneously, and we'll go towards that. So thank you, and see you on the next group call.